Very good afternoon. So we are discussing the exception handling. In that we have seen the Java follows which model of exception handling. So there are two modes of exception handling. First one termination model and second one resumption model. So Java follows the termination model. That means so whenever the exception arises, the program execution terminates. Program execution terminates that and then resumption model. So resumption model is nothing but whenever the exception arises, the program will continue to execute. So the program will continue to execute. That type of model exception handling is known as resumption model. So we have two types of exception handling. First one is resumption model and second one is termination model. So Java follows the termination model. So Java follows the termination model. So, and then we have discussed about the 5 keywords, that is try block, catch block, finally block, and then throw, and then throws. So there is a difference between throws as well as throw. So throws means we will use that keyword in while declaration of the method. In the method header, we can use the throws. So within the method, we can use the throw. Within the method, you can use the throw. So in the method header, we can use the throws. So that is the difference between throws as well as throw. And then try block, catch block, finally block. So we are treating this as blocks. That means try keyword has some block of statements. So that block of statements are enclosed with curly braces, and then catch block. So catch is a keyword which has some block of statement, and then finally. So finally is a keyword which has some block of statements. So those block of statements can be enclosed with braces, enclosed with curly braces. So the main purpose of try block is to raise the exception, to identify the exception, to raise the exception. And then the purpose of the catch block is to handle that exception, to handle that exception. And then the purpose of the finally block is irrespective of the exception erased or exception is not erased, the finally block will always execute. So if you want to uh, display the output irrespective of the exceptions, we can write that statements or logic in the finally block. That means whenever you if you find the exception, the control always goes to the catch block. So remaining statements will not execute. So why? Because Java follows the termination model. So whenever you encounter an exception, then immediately the program execution terminates. So immediately the program control goes to the catch block. So catch block will be executed. After that, the program will exit. So if you write the finally block means, so if you execute the catch block also, after the execution of catch block, final block will be executed. Finally block will be executed. So if you find any exception, the finally block will be executed. If you don't find any exception, even though the finally block will be executed. Either of these cases, the finally block will be executed always. So this is all about the basic things in the exception handling. And then we have seen the exception handling class hierarchy. So class hierarchy. So the in the topmost level, we have the object class. So object class is a universal superclass. So all the remaining classes will inherit the properties from object class. So that's why object class is called as universal superclass. So next, for handling the exceptions, we have the special class. For handling the exception, we have the predefined class, that is throwable. That is throwable. So throwable is a main class here. In order to handle any type of exceptions or some exception methods, we need a throwable class. So throwable class is a subclass of object class. That means throwable extends the properties from object class. So all the classes will extend the properties of object class. So likewise, throwable class is also uh, extends the properties from object class. So throwable is the main class here, super class here. So throwable is a super class for all the exception classes here. So throwable class has some subclasses, error and exception. So we are dealing with the exceptions. So exception is the subclass of throwable class. Exception is a subclass of throwable class. So This exception has some subclasses. Runtime exception, IO exception, arithmetic exception. So these are the subclasses of exception class. These are the subclasses of exception classes, exception class. So this is some hierarchy of the exception classes. So, and then we have seen the checked exception as well as unchecked exception. So we have two variations in the handling of exceptions. Two variations in the handling of exceptions. So one way is unchecked exception. Second way is checked exception. So C++ follows the unchecked exception. C++ follows the unchecked exception. So Java follows either unchecked exceptions or checked exception. So what do you mean by checked exception? So checked exception means the compiler will check the exception. That means the compiler will check for the exception handler. So whether the exception handler is written by the programmer or not. So that will be checked by the compiler. So that type of exceptions are known as checked exceptions, or we can say it as compiler exceptions. And then unchecked exception. So unchecked exception means compiler cannot check for the catch blocks. The compiler cannot check for the exceptional handlers. The compiler cannot check for the exception handlers. So exception handlers are nothing but a catch blocks. So the program will simply execute. So there are two variations. We will see that in today's session. So this is all about the exception handling. So also we have seen the multiple catch blocks. Multiple catch blocks. That means for each exception, we need a corresponding exception handler. For exception, one type of exception, suppose take IO exception. So that is one type of exception. To handle that exception, we need a catch block of type IO exception. So there is an arithmetic exception. That is the second type. So if you want to handle that arithmetic exception, we need another catch block. Another catch block. So in a single catch block, we cannot handle the multiple exceptions. So in for a single catch block, we'll handle only single exception. Single exception can be handled by single catch block. So multiple exceptions are not handled by the single catch blocks. That's why we are creating the multiple catch blocks. For each exception, the corresponding to that exception, we are writing the catch blocks. So that is the multiple catch blocks that can be implemented with Boolean OR operator. So if you want to implement the, if you want to handle the multiple exceptions in a single catch block, that can be possible by using the Boolean OR operator. So Boolean OR operator. So we have seen the example also. Boolean OR operator. So single catch block can handle multiple exceptions. Multiple exceptions whenever you use the logical OR operator. Logical OR operator, or else you can write the another catch block. After Java version 7, we are following this tradition. So single catch block can handle the multiple exceptions by using the logical OR operator, or else we have to use the multiple catch blocks. So this is all about the exception handling. So let us continue. So next one. So this is the basic things regarding the exception handling. So these are the basic things regarding the exception handling. So next one, throwable. So throwable is a superclass for exception handling. So all the classes, all the exception handling classes will extend the properties from throwable. So throwable is a main class here. So all the exception handling related methods or interface are placed in the throwable class. So this is the main class. This is the superclass for exception handling. So all the remaining classes regarding the exception handling are extends the properties of throwable. So let us see how the throwable class is declared. So throwable is a predefined class. Throwable is a predefined class. So how this throwable class is defined and what are the constructors available, what are the methods that throwable class has, so that we will see now. So throwable is a predefined class which is used to perform some exceptional handling tasks. So this is the syntax. So not syntax. This is how the throwable class has written in the package. Throwable class has written in the package. Public class throwable. So which extends the properties of object. So object is a super class. So all the classes will extend the properties from object. So it also implements the serializable interface. It also implements the serializable interface. So this is how the throwable class is written in the package. So this is the throwable class. Next one, constructors of the class throwable. So constructors means, so class name and constructors name has same name. So constructors are used to initialize the some data, initialize the variables. To initialize the variables, we will use the constructors. So there are so many types of constructors. So likewise, throwable class also has some constructors. This throwable class also supports the various kinds of constructors. So those are throwable. So constructor name and class name should be same. Constructor name and class name should be same. Throwable, and then throwable, it passes some string message, string value. Throwable, it passes the 2 parameters. Throwable, it passes the some object also. So these constructors are can be so many variations. Constructors with no arguments, constructors with single arguments, constructors with 2 arguments, constructors which will pass the object other than arguments, other than parameters. Constructor may pass the object also, that can be possible. And then consider this is the another type of constructor supported by the throwable. Protected throwable, it passes the message, it passes the object, and it passes the some enable suppression. So that is used to construct the throwable with specified message pass and enabled or disabled suppression. That means if you want to enable the suppression, we can use the enable. If you want to disable the suppression, we can use the disable. So that is the Boolean value. That is the Boolean type. That is either enable or disable. There are 2 options, either true or false. So these are the some constructors used in the throwable class. Let us see some methods. So some methods commonly used in the exception handling. So these are the predefined methods defined in the throwable class. So let us see the methods. Add suppressed, this is the method. Fill stack trace, this is the method. Get cast, this is the method. Get message, this is the method. Get localized message, this is the method. Stack trace element, this is the method. Get stack trace, this is the method. So like this, we have so many methods supported by the throwable class. So we can you can have the look. So let us see one program. So let us see one program regarding the throwable class method, usage of some throwable class methods. Usage of some throwable class methods. So let us see this program. So here I am writing the class, defining the class throwable1, which extends the properties from throwable. So throwable is a super class. So I am going to write defining the class throwable1. So which is the subclass of throwable. So throwable is a superclass for all the exception classes. So we can access access the methods defined in the throwable. We can access the methods defined in the throwable. So that's why we are inheriting the properties from throwable. So class throwable1 extends the throwable. Throwable is a predefined class. So this is the main method. And then I am initializing the variables I, j, k, I value as 6, j value as 0. I have declared the variable k, and then I am creating an object. So in order to access the class members, throwable is a class. So in order to access these class members, we need an object. We need an object. That's why I'm creating an object one, obj1 of type throwable one, throwable one. I am creating the object for this class. I am creating an object for this class, throwable one, new throwable one. So this is the syntax for creation of object. Next, this is the try block. This is the catch block. This is the finally block. Catch block, try block, finally block. So let us see what happens in the try block. So try block, some printf statements entered into the try block, and then performing k is equal to I by j. K is equal to I by j. I by j means 6 by 0. So 6 by 0 means exception. So it raises the exception. So it raises the exception means it goes to the control, goes to the catch block. Control goes to the catch block. So the arithmetic exception E. E is an exception object. E. So system.out, I'm printing some statement, enter the catch block. Then, so I am using the method get a stack trace. Get a stack trace through the object obj1. Through the object obj1. So this method is defined in the class throwable. So we are not writing the method definition here. This method is already defined in the throwable class. And then system.out.println, I am printing that error. I am printing that exception object. So this is the catch block. So next, finally block. So after execution of the catch block, finally block will be executed. So if you find any exception or if you don't find any exception, always this finally block will be executed. So let us see what happens in this. It's finally block. I am printing that statements, and then system.out.println, I am printing the class name. So to print the class name, the get class is the method. Get class is the method. Get class is the method. I am printing the cause. That is obj1.getCause. So these are the methods defined in the throwable class. So these are the some methods defined in the throwable class. So just I am utilizing that methods. I am invoking that methods. I am invoked this method get stack trace, get class, get cause. So I am using that methods. I am invoking that methods. So let us check the output of this program. So here the idea is the program aim is to illustrate the some methods. To illustrate the some methods used in the some methods defined in the throwable class. Throwable class supports so many methods. So we are using some mainly used methods. Get a stack trace, get class, get cause. So let us see the output. So Java, the program name is throwable1. So this is the output. So let us check the program. So this is the output. So enter try block. After entering the try block, exception has arisen. Exception has arisen. So this statement is not executed. This statement is not executed. So why? Because Java follows the termination model. So it terminates from this block and execute the catch block and execute the catch block. So entered into the catch block. Okay. And then get the stack trace. Get a stack trace. This is the output for this. Stack trace means the exception. For each exception, there is some error. So for each exception, the exception is stored in the stack. That means element 1, element 2, element 3, exception 1, exception 2, exception 3, exception 4, like that. In the stack, all the exceptions are stored. All the exceptions are stored in a stack. That means to trace that exceptions. What are the exceptions are erased? So that element ID is this one, 2C7B84DE. Then I am printing that exception. That exception is division by 0 exception. And then control goes to the finally block. Finally block will be executed. This is the its finally block. And I am getting the get class name. So the get class name is throwable one. Get cars. So there is no cars here. That's why the method returns null value. The method returns the null value. So this is these are the some methods used in the some methods used in the day-to-day exception handling programs. So all these methods are defined in the throwable class. All these methods are defined in the throwable class. So this is all about the throwable class. So let us move to the types of the errors. So let us move to the types of the errors. So we have seen the throwable class, and then we will see the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So we'll check the checked exceptions and then unchecked exceptions. So Java supports two types of exceptions. Java supports two types of exceptions. First one is unchecked exceptions. Second one is checked exceptions. So there are two types of exceptions supported by the Java. So in C++, all the exceptions are unchecked. In C++, all the exceptions are unchecked exceptions. But Java supports two types of exceptions. Either it may be unchecked exception or it may be checked exception. So let us see what do you mean by unchecked exception and what do you mean by checked exception. So first one, unchecked exception. Unchecked exception. So unchecked exception means the compiler does not check for the exception handler. The compiler does not check for the exception handler. So those are, we can call it as runtime exceptions. Those can be called as runtime exceptions. So the unchecked exceptions are examples for arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception as well as runtime exception. So runtime exception is a class. Let us see the hierarchy, class hierarchy. You will get to know. So let us see this class hierarchy. Let us see this. So these are the unchecked exceptions. So these are the unchecked exceptions. So runtime exceptions are the unchecked exceptions. So runtime exception is a class name. So all the runtime exception classes are unchecked exceptions. So arithmetic exception, class cached exception, array store exception, all these are the subclasses of runtime exception. Subclasses of the runtime exception. So all these classes are examples for unchecked exceptions. So checked exceptions means these classes. So other than this, all the classes are checked exceptions. In Java, other than the runtime exceptions, all the remaining exceptions are checked exceptions. That means the compiler will check for the exception. The compiler will check for the exceptional handler. The compiler will check for the whether the exception can be handled by the programmer or not. That can be checked by the compiler. So all the remaining classes except runtime exception, all the remaining classes are unchecked exceptions. So examples are class not found exception, illegal access exception, interrupted exception. So these three are the examples for unchecked exceptions. So there is a difference between unchecked exceptions as well as checked exceptions. And in unchecked exceptions, the compiler will not check for whether the programmer has written the exception handler or not. The compiler will not bother about the exception handling. So here in the checked exception, the compiler will identify, or compiler will search for the exception handler. Compiler will search for the exception handler. So whether the programmer has written the catch block, or whether the programmer has written the throws method, so that will be checked by the compiler. So this is the difference between unchecked exceptions as well as checked exceptions. So let us see some programs regarding checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions. So these are the some classes, example classes for the runtime exceptions: arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, array store exception, class cast exception, illegal argument exception, illegal state exception, illegal thread state exception, index out of bound exception, negative array size exception, number format exception, null point exception, security exception, type not present exception, unsupport operation exception. So these are the some examples for unchecked exception. That means the compiler will not check for the catch blocks, or the compiler will not check for the exception handlers. So whether the programmer has written the exception handler or not, that cannot be checked by the compiler. So these are the some example classes for unchecked exceptions. So let us see examples for checked exceptions. Checked exceptions: class not found exception, file not found exception, clone not supported exception, illegal access exception, instantiation exception, interrupted exception, no such field exception, no such method exception. All these are the examples for checked exceptions. All these are examples for the checked exceptions. So that means the compiler will check for the exception handler. That means if you found any class not found exception, means the compiler will search for that exception handler. The compiler will search for the exception handler. So if the compiler don't find any exception, at the compile time only we'll get an error. We'll get an exception. So if we don't have any exception handler, then the compiler will display the exception or error at the time of compilation only, at the time of the compilation. So in the unchecked exceptions, we will get the exception at the time of runtime. Unchecked exceptions are example for the runtime exceptions. Checked exceptions are examples for the compile time exceptions. So compile time exceptions means if you don't have any exception handler, then the compiler will return the error. The compiler will return the error, or compiler will return the exception. If you have the exception handler, then only the program will able to run. The program will able to execute. So if you programmer have to write the exception handler, the programmer has to handle that exception, then only the program will execute, or else the compiler will return the error message or exception message at the time of compilation. If you compile Java C program name.c, then then you will get the error or exception. So if you want to use any checked exceptions, means you have to write the proper exception handling mechanism. So then only program will compile, or else program will not compile. The compiler will return the error. So we have to be careful when we use the checked exceptions. That means the program will not execute. We don't have any exception handler. So we have to be more careful in checked exceptions. So these are the some method, some classes in the checked exceptions. So let us see some programs to illustrate the checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions. So let us see some programs. So let us see the unchecked exceptions first. So later we will see the checked exception. So let us see this program. So I am defining the class, I am defining the method, I am initializing the variables a, b, c, a value is 12, b value is 0, c value is 14, and I am initializing I am declaring the variable sum d. So I am assigning the sum is equal to a plus b plus c. Then I am printing that sum value. Okay. So is there any possibility to get an exception up to this? Up to these statements, can we get any exception? So up to this, we don't get any exception. So up to this, we don't get any exception. That's why we have not kept this code in the try block. We have not kept this code in the try block. So then this is the try block, and then this is the catch block. So in the try block, I am performing some arithmetic operation. D is equal to a by b. D is equal to a by b. A value is 12, b value is 0. So 12 by 0. So that means exception. Exception is erased. So immediately compiler goes to the catch block. So the exception will be handled here. So this statement is not executed. So this is an example for unchecked exceptions. Why? Because it is an arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception is a subclass of runtime exception. So all the runtime exceptions are unchecked exceptions. So arithmetic exception is an unchecked exception. Unchecked exception. That means the compiler will not check for the catch block. If you write the catch block, the output will be executed. If you don't write the catch block, the programmer, the output will be displayed. The empty output will be displayed. So this is all about the arithmetic exception. So let us check this output. Java's program name is uncheck 1. So let us see. So 26, a plus b plus c value is printed. Then, so this is the output for this one, 26. Then try block, exception is erased. Then the control will goes to the catch block. So this statement is not executed. Then system, this will be printed. Exception object will be printed. So this is an exception object, division by 0. So this is an runtime exception, unchecked exception. So let us see one more program. So let us see one more program for unchecked exception. So this is the main class, main method. And then here I am defining the array. So in previous program, we have seen the arithmetic operations. So let us see some operations on arrays. So I am defining an array and I am initializing an array with 3 values, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. It means that a of 0 is equal to 6. A of 1 is equal to 7. And then a of 2 is equal to 8. So this is how the elements are placed in the computer memory. A of 0, 6 value, A of 1, 7, A of 2, 8. So these are the subscripts of an array. So array index starts with the 0. So then I am using the try block as well as the catch block. So in the try block, entered the try block. And then I am writing the code for int I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus, system.out.println, A of 5. So here I am going to print the array values. So array values are 6, 7, 8. So here I am going to print the array values. So I have written the loop for I is equal to 0 to I less than or equal to 3. So here I am going to enter the 3 elements only, A of 0, A of 1, A of 2. If the I value is less than, loop is repeated up to the I value 3. Loop is repeated up to the value 3, I value 3, less than or equal to. That means A of 3. So the program will run up to A of 3. A of 3 is equal to. So we don't have any value. We don't have any value, A of 3. So then there is an exception. there is an exception. The exception will be erased. Then I am printing the exit the block and I am writing the catch block. So here the class is array index out of bounds exception. Array index out of bounds exception. So this is an unchecked exception. This is a runtime exception. Exception object is E. So I am printing that exception. So let us see the output and then we can modify that program. So let us see the output. Java unchecked 2. So see this one. Enter try block. So try block is executed. Next one, loop. See, I'm printing the array 6, 7, 8. I'm printing the 6, 7, 8. So when the cursor come to the this one, A of 3, so then the exception is erased. So this block, this statement is not executed. Then the compiler will come to the catch block. So in the catch block, the exception will be printed. So here we don't get any exception. So in the output, we don't get any exception. So let us give this value as 5. Let us make this value as 5. I think I have not compiled that program. Java C uncheck.java. So let us see. 6, 7, 8. A of 3, A of 4, A of 5, up to A of 5. So all these values, the exception are erased. So this will be, exception object will be printed. Java language dot array out of bound exception. So this is the exception. So let us edit this one up to 2. Let us repeat the loop up to 2. Save the program. Compile it, run it. So we don't get any exception here. Out of bound exception. We don't get any out of bound exception. That means the array size and elements entered are matched. So there is no exception here. So this is the concept of unchecked exceptions. Here the compiler will not check for the exception handler. So the exceptions are executed at the runtime. So these are so this type of exceptions are known as runtime exceptions. So these are the subclasses of runtime exceptions. Arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception. All these are the subclasses of runtime exception. So these are the some examples of unchecked exceptions. So let us see the examples for checked exceptions. That means the compiler will check for the exceptions. The compiler will check for the exceptions. So let us see. So this is the main class. Main method, I am initializing the variables 12, 14, and then I'm performing some arithmetic operation a plus b asterisk 2. And then I'm performing the printing the try block and catch block. So in the try block, I am going to perform I am going to identify the class. So class dot for name. That means class name is try catch. So the compiler will identify search for the classes, list of available classes. Try catch is a class, which I have written the programs like here. Try catch 1, try catch 2. So like that, I have written the try catch as the class name. So here for name is a method. For name is a method which matches the class name. So class dot for name. For name is a method in the class. Class dot for name try catch. So try catch is the class name here. So let us see whether the class is present or not. So here I have only try catch 1, try catch 2. I don't have any try catch method, try catch class. So that's why exception is erased. Then the compiler will search for the exception. So class not found exception. Class not found exception. So try catch is a class which is not found in our computer disk, hard disk, computer memory. So I am printing the exception. So I am printing the exception. System.out.println. I am printing that exception. So let us see this one output. Check even. So this is the exception. Class not found exception. So here class name is try catch. So let us make this as try catch 1. Already try catch 1 class is present. Let us see the output. So compile the program. Java C check even. So let us make this class name as already present class name is check E2. Check E2. Save this. Class not found exception is came. So that means this class is not present in that package. The class is not present in that package. So this statement, this method will return whether the class check E2 is present in the same directory or not. So if you don't find that, then the exception will be erased. If you find that, we don't get any exception. So these are the checked exceptions. That means the compiler will check for the exception. The compiler will check for the exception. Or else, if you don't have any exception handler for this, we will get the error. At the compile time, we will get the error. If you don't write any, this catch statement means you will get the error. So this is all about the checked exceptions. So in today's class, we have discussed about the 3 things. First one is throwable class. We have seen the throwable class. What are the constructors and what are the methods available in the throwable class? And then we have seen the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So we have seen the differences as well as some programs programs regarding the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So any doubts? Any doubts? So assuming that you don't have any doubts, okay, thank you. We'll meet in the tomorrow session.